Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to my Greek kitchen. You know, I love pies and today we're gonna be making a lovely Greek pie called Kimadopita. Kimadopita means it's a savory pie, it's a minced meat pie, and it's one of my grandmother Eleni's favorite pies. The ingredients are very simple. Let's have a look at them. You know, we're gonna make everything about this pie. So we're gonna make the filling together and we're gonna make the pastry together. We're gonna make the rustic filo pastry that I've shared with you in another video. But let's start with the filling first, okay? So you will need 750 grams of lean beef mince. You will need 2 leeks that I have washed and cut into slices like that. Make sure that they're almost equal sizes. You will need a cup of Greek feta, crumbled, a medium onion, sliced, 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, a cup of pecorino, grated. You can use sharp cheddar if you like. I'm using here pecorino. 1 egg, 1 cinnamon stick, 2 generous tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, a tin of tomatoes, chopped tomatoes, half a cup, about there, of white wine, salt, pepper and olive oil. Okay, we're ready. So I've got a pan over medium to high heat and I have added in my pan 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add all the mince and I'm gonna let it brown. So that will be about 5 minutes or so. So let your mince go brown. The mince is lovely and brown. The next thing we're gonna do is add the chopped onion and we're going to add the leeks. Trust me, you're gonna love this pie. And we're gonna leave those for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes until the leek has softened. Here we are. I've just added my white wine into the sauce, and you know, before we had a little mountain of leeks, but now the leeks have softened, the liquid that they released has evaporated. We have added our white wine and we're going to let that reduce down completely before we add the rest of the ingredients. And I have to tell you, for this recipe you're adding white wine. Not red wine, because we're not making like a bolognese or a rich tomatoey meaty sauce. This is for our Kimadopita, for our Greek pie. So it has to be white wine. If you haven't got white wine, leave it out. I leave it out sometimes when I don't have white wine. It's fine. I will tell you how wonderful it smells. Okay, the wine has evaporated. Next thing, cinnamon stick goes in. I have added salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna add my tin of chopped tomatoes. And you know, as usual, I'm gonna fill the tin of chopped tomatoes with water up to the middle to start with, and I'm gonna add it into my pan. So let me do that first and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Now, we're gonna give this a really nice stir. We're gonna bring it up to the boil, and then we're gonna cover it, turn it down to low, and we're gonna simmer it for about half an hour. Okay, so the mince is cooking behind me, lovely. Now we're gonna make the pastry. And I'm using the same recipe I've shared with you before on a previous video on how to make rustic Greek pastry. The only difference between this video and what I'm doing now is that today I'm using just plain white flour instead of a little bit of wholemeal like I did before. So in this bowl I have 750 grams of plain white flour. Here I've got 340 ml of lukewarm water, 100 ml of Greek olive oil, 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, and I've mentioned before the reason why we use vinegar in the pastry is to make it nice and crispy, and some salt. And it couldn't be simpler. So for those of you that think, oh my god, I cannot make pastry, yes you can, it's very simple. So the flour here, and we're going to add the olive oil in the middle, We're going to add the vinegar. We're going to add half a teaspoon of salt. And slowly, I'm gonna be adding the water to bring everything together. Easy, right? I've added all my water now and I'm working the pastry to bring everything together. If at any point you need some more water or you need some more flour, don't worry, just make sure you add a bit more. Every flour is different, so sometimes you think, oh, this hasn't worked, but it's very simple. A little bit of water or a bit of flour, depending on what you need. And always work it using one hand, because then you have the other hand free to hold your bowl and start bringing everything together. You see? And always make sure you clean your bowl. And now I've reached the point where I'm okay with it, so I'm gonna start cleaning my hands. So clean your hands and bring the mixture all together. Here we are. The mixture has come together beautifully. You see? Lovely and soft. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and wash my hands and get some more flour to dust my surface to work my dough a little bit more. So give me 2 minutes. Ready. A bit of flour on the surface. Push and fold. Push and fold. It's very easy. It's the easiest pastry you can make and it's delicious. So when you make this pie, try making this pastry. You can use puff pastry if you like, you can use filo pastry, but for me, this one works best. Okay, I think this pastry looks super pretty. Look at this. Lovely. Okay, done. I'm gonna I have a clean bowl here. I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil and with my hands just give the olive oil a little bit of give the bowl a little brush with the olive oil. And I'm gonna take this beauty and leave it in, let it rest until my filling is ready. Our pastry is done and chilling out, so you can make the pastry in the morning if you like, and then make the pie. The pastry will be absolutely fine, so you don't have to worry about it. As long as you have it in a bowl with a little bit of olive oil, covered with a towel, it should be absolutely fine. Now, 30 minutes have passed and the mince is ready and smelling amazing. Now, there is quite a bit of liquid here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the lid off, turn the heat a little bit up to medium, and we're gonna leave it for about 10 minutes until the liquid has evaporated. Lovely. It looks and smells amazing. 10 minutes have passed. What we need to do now is, do you remember I mentioned to you this lovely pecorino and feta cheese and, you know, the egg and the breadcrumbs? Right, there is a place and a time for those. What we need to do first is let this mixture cool down completely, because then we're going to add the egg, the beaten egg and the cheeses and make a really nice lovely filling. So we're going to let this cool down completely first. The most exciting part of this video has arrived. The mince is completely cold and I have removed the cinnamon stick. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a try to make sure it's right for salt and pepper. Be careful with the salt, don't add too much because we're going to be adding the cheeses in a minute, but you need to make sure that the pepper is just about right. So give it a try. I think you're going to love this recipe, you have to make it. Next thing, I'm going to add the parsley. I'm going to add the breadcrumbs. And the reason we add the breadcrumbs is so they soak up some of the juices that are left on it. In a little bowl, I'm going to crack the egg and give it a little whisk. Just like that, nothing too difficult. And I'm gonna add it all in. Remember, we're making a pie, so that will help the mixture get together. Next thing, the pecorino and my favorite cheese of all time, Greek feta. I love feta. And very gently, we're gonna mix everything together. Doesn't that look gorgeous? It's delicious, trust me. It's lovely for lunch, for supper, with a little salad. It's fantastic. Warm or cold, room temperature, whatever you like. It's delicious. Okay. Mixture is ready. Let's roll out the pastry and preheat the oven at 180 degrees centigrade. We're ready. I'm gonna be using a baking dish like this. That's 35 by 25 centimeters. The oven is preheating at 180 degrees centigrade, and the pastry has been chilling out. You see? Lovely. Lovely. Okay, a bit of flour on your surface, not too much. Oh my goodness. How lovely is this? Okay, give it a little, look at that. It's fantastic. Right, okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it almost in half. So I want one piece to be bigger than the other, because the bigger piece will go at the bottom. So we need to make it big enough to cover and overhang a little bit from the side of the dish. So, like this. Lovely. And now the fun begins. Give it another roll. So it's a nice little ball, just like this. And roll it out. A little bit of flour on your rolling pin. Go for it. Look at this beauty. It's such an easy pastry, and you can stretch it with your hands also, if you like. I'm happy that this is the right size now. What I'm going to do is a little bit of olive oil, just a teaspoon or so. You don't need a lot. And because I use my hands when I cook, just rub the olive oil all around the dish. Nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rolling pin to help me move the pastry. So very gently roll the pastry. Okay, and again very gently make sure that the pastry covers the bottom of your dish. And can you see I left a little bit of overhang like here? We're gonna tidy that up in a minute. Pretty, right? Okay, I'm happy with this. So what I'm gonna do before I roll the top is I'm gonna put all the filling into the pan. Very carefully, everything. Now tell me, doesn't that look beautiful? It tastes amazing too. Okay, now the filling is in. We're gonna roll out the top layer, and next to you need to have a little bowl with a little bit of water, just tap water. So when it comes to us connecting the two pieces together, we can seal it properly with a little bit of water. Let's make the top. A little bit of flour, the top. And we're gonna roll it out the same way as we did the bottom. And I have to tell you this, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is handmade, and it just has to be right and work for you. So Before I put the top layer, I'm gonna just dip my finger into the water and just rub it along the sides of this pastry, just like this. Okay. I haven't smashed anything yet on a video, so I make a noise sometimes, but right. Okay. You can use a brush if you like, but I like using my hands. Now, the same logic like before, and roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. Like this. Now, it's time to tidy up. Okay? So, we need to make sure that the two pieces are connected. Can you see? Yeah? And this is a critical part, that the two pieces are connected, to make sure that the pie doesn't open, right? And this is easy. When you leave the overhang, it's easy. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the excess pastry. Can you see? It's not pretty at this point in time, but we will make it pretty. So just use your dish to guide your knife, okay? So can you see? Yeah? Use your dish to guide your knife. I think we're okay there. Right here. I'm happy. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna twist and turn. Come closer. Twist and turn. Come closer for this bit. Using your fingers, pull and twist, pull and twist, pull and twist, pull and twist, pull, twist and push. You see? Just like that. So pull, twist and push. You can do it. If you find this bit difficult, don't worry at all. Use a fork to just give it a nice pattern. Can you see? Because we used the dish to guide us when we were cutting the pastry, we can do that now. We can push, twist, and do it like this. But the fork will work just as nice. Okay? Ta-da! Nice, right? Look what we've made. Look what we've made. Everything, a whole pie from start to finish, from scratch. Pastry is so easy to make, so if you want to give it a go, I would highly recommend, don't buy it, just go for it. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're just going to score the pie, okay? We're not going to go down deep like we do with the spanakopita, we're just going to score it so it has a nice beautiful pattern. So using your knife, just run it on the top of the pie, just like this. And you can do any shape you like, squares, diamonds, whatever you like. You see? And then I'm gonna go, which way shall I go? I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go down. Okay? Lovely. And remember the water that we used before, just with your hands and sprinkle some on top. And the reason we sprinkle water, like we do with the spanakopita, this pastry is the same, and just brush it a little bit, it's just to give it a bit of color and help the pastry cook. So just with your hands, or with a brush, whatever you prefer, just a little bit of water. this is ready to go in the oven, and it will have to stay in the oven for about an hour. Keep an eye on it, every oven is different, keep an eye on it, approximately an hour. My oven, I have it in for an hour, and you just need it to be beautiful golden brown on top and at the bottom. An hour has passed, the house smells wonderful. Let's have a look. I just want to show you what the pie should look like. Look at this. This is the color. Can you see on the side? Lovely and brown. I'm gonna leave this now to cool down completely, and then we're gonna have it for lunch. I'm gonna put it back in the oven. It's a big hand. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep well, and I'll see you here next time for some more Greek cooking. Take care, keep well.